move these around however you want.
I will.
I appreciate you being here. All right, so first things first, let's just go around and introduce ourselves really quickly, and then maybe say your name and something that you might like to get out of today, or what drew you to come here today. Hello, come on in, have a seat. Got a couple spots back in there. Move these around. Whatever, however you want. All right, cool.
My name is Cole Porter. I'm only a month into being an agent. So far, I've every class you taught, I've gotten something out of it. So I'm just hoping for more of that.
Love it.
Andrew Stumer, I'm about the same far along, and just kind of getting here to get some more insight into what to be on.
I like it.
Eric Jackson, just got my license in the mail, so I'm right at the front end of it, but
Congratulations.
soak it all in.
Awesome. Right there, buddy. Perfect. And Chris.
Hey, what do we do? I'm Chris.
And what drove you to come to today? What do you want to get out of it? What made you come?
Well, it's something about goal setting, right?
You're
I
right.
haven't been to a class in a long time. I'm just.
Come on.
I
Okay.
just wanted to see
I'm
your
glad.
teaching style.
Thank you.
Hey, I'll come there too.
All right.
Mindy Whitty, and I didn't know about this until team meeting. And then I got the little thing and I thought, well, I haven't heard him teach a class.
So glad.
I bet he's awesome.
We might need more chairs.
I need to experience this.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to just take yours and copy it?
Here, take mine.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Take that.
I'm Stacy, and what drew me here
I pretty much
is
told you had.
yeah,
But you better be there. Okay, good.
Elise Ellis, and kind of threatened me.
I did.
I'm kidding. I don't know. I guess it was. I don't know. It was kind of. I guess is this replacing the MERA business planning?
No.
Nope. Okay, so I'm really in a place in my business where I've got to make some decisions. So.
Yep, this is perfect for where you're at. I can't wait for you to get what you get out of today. Go ahead.
I wanna see how you teach.
Okay, brilliant. Well, it's funny because this is
Do you have
not
a
a
name?
normal class. I kind of took from multiple places and created a course that has the real fundamentals. I took a class called the Business Snapshot, and then I created this one out of it. And it was taught by a guy who was longtime Keller Williams. I think he's retired and living on some private island now. He's outrageously successful. He was a borderline billionaire, like a Ben Kinney, but years past. And he came out and he was just traveling all over the country and with his amazing wife, and they just would drive these fantastic cars. He'd just go buy a new car wherever he went, and he'd just go drive it around wherever he was, and then he'd sell it. And it was just the craziest thing, this guy. I just loved his outlook that money is just the good it can do. And he had so much of it that he would just bless others with it all the time. And so I love that about him, but he literally taught me this course. And I was like, okay, I can learn from this guy. Like his philanthropic ability, his everything about him and what he achieved, I just loved it. So I'm gonna teach it to you today. Woo-hoo! Now, normally this is like a 4-day class. So I'm actually gonna teach you in a very short period of time, the fundamentals. And then guess what? These are dominoes for you to achieve. And so we're gonna look at your year in a glance in the next class version of this. And we're going to plug and play where you're going to achieve these things on your year calendar for 2021. So this is like a prerequisite in a way for, in my opinion, to the business planning clinic. Cool? Yeah, she's back. Perfect, Kim. All right. First things first, we got to research the opportunity, which means the mindset and attitude. How big can you think? What's possible is A. A is what's possible. So I created another class called Growing Your Island, and I'm going to teach Growing Your Island probably middle of next year. Maybe if I can, I'll try to get in the first quarter of next year. But Growing Your Island in a synopsis real quickly is, if you were going to be shipwrecked on an island, if it was a pile of sand above the water and 2 palm trees, how long could you live there? Not very long. But if you get shipwrecked on Madagascar, it's a gigantic island, is it not? It is. And how long could you live there?
I'll probably see
Indefinitely.
right away.
There's fresh water, there's mountains, there's wildlife, there's all kinds of things. So when it looks at building your business, when you look at what it takes to actually get your, if you look at what an island is, it's actually starts at the bottom of the ocean and grows and bubbles up and all this magma comes up and it grows. And finally it breaches the water line of the ocean, does it not? Your business has to be like that. In order for your business to get above the water to breathe, oh, is it not working?
Keep going. Yeah.
In order to get above the water to breathe, you have to have built a massive amount underneath the water. These are a lot of the things that you have to have in order to get your business up to the top and then eventually bust it out so big that you build a big island that you could live on. So I want you to think about a little bit at the beginning of our class today that your business is like an island. How long can you live on it? Cool? All right. So, what are your strengths and weaknesses? How many of us have done a DISC, AVA, a KPA, or Strengths Finder?
One of them or all of them?
Good. All of you should have. Rosalind, we've got to get you. I didn't know that. For real? Okay. Well, by the end of the day, after this class, come with me. We will set you up, and I'm going to have you take a KPA.
Okay.
Okay. You're not gonna take it right then. I'm just going to send you the thing, and then you can start it when you have time.
Okay. I have an appointment I have to go to, but I'll come back and.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have Nicole send it to
Oh,
you.
okay. Whatever. Then Nicole will do it for you.
So I have a question on the disc.
Yes.
So how often should you retake that?
I would say no more than once every 3 to maybe 4 years.
So I should probably retake it.
Once
So if I
every
took it
3
when I
to
was
4 years.
17,
Yep, no,
I'm
you
almost
are a very
there.
different person from the point when you were 17. Yeah, and there's many different types. So there's Abelson disc, there's Tony Robbins disc, there's all kinds of different ones. And remember, this is really important. If you want to make this as a note, disc is only around communication style. It talks about your communication style. And guess what? A lot of people don't like me. I talk too fast, or I'm too energetic, or I'm too positive. I don't know. But I piss people off. I don't know why that is, other than those examples that I just gave you. Because I want the best for everybody. So I'm going to do everything I can to make everybody's life great. I don't know how you can fight that, but we're just going to go with it. Being incorporated. So if you haven't done your KPA and if you haven't had it validated, that's the other part of it. The other part is KPA needs to be validated. It is just a piece of paper and it's not important unless you validate it. Cool? Now, why do we say that in the very beginning when you talk about researching your opportunity? Researching your opportunity, what does that even mean? Well, who will you be in business with? And how will you be able to set standards and systems and expectations with somebody you can't communicate well with? One of the most foundational pieces, and it's part of your opportunity. Because each of you has strengths in your communication style. Each one of us has weaknesses in our communication style. But it's up to us to do these so that you can and be aware of them. Otherwise, you can't be purposeful about it. Truly? All right. Preparing for taxes. I call it safetify. That's that's one of my words. It's not a word, but I invented it and it's awesome. So I want you to safetify your business. And that means having a tax account set aside where you put 30, maybe 30, 35% of everything you make into that tax account. Because I know for a fact, I've learned the hard way on numerous occasions. I did not plan enough to do my quarterlies, to have a CPA, to have a bookkeeping company, to have a tax account. All that stuff is really important. So safetifying your business, because man, you get hit after making a certain amount of money, way above your normal tax bracket, and you did not prepare enough. Out here, you're probably safe if you do 30%, just because taxes are a lot lower than California. All right.
Question, your last point there, like corporations and stuff, I didn't catch.
So preparing for taxes and, you're right, I skipped one, I'm sorry. Getting incorporated. Many different modes of thought on this. I am a big proponent of getting incorporated. Number one, it protects you legally, because if anybody were to sue you based on something that happened in a transaction, they go for the business and not you personally. So your business will get wrecked and not you.
According to my accountant, when you get incorporated, you need to move your real estate license to that corporation because, well, we're getting paid as individuals.
Correct.
We're not getting paid as the LLC. So our individual money is just going into the LLC. That doesn't mean that we're protected.
So you're right. In certain states, I've heard that. California was not like that.
Okay.
So I could house my license at the brokerage, but I could have them pay my LLC.
Okay, we can't do that here.
Yep, so I had them pay my LLC. All funds go directly to my LLC. It has its own EIN number, which is like a social security number for your business. And that is what gets paid. And therefore, it doesn't have to be housed at that. But here it might be different. I am not the expert on Missouri. I will become so more over time. But I would say that yes, follow your CPA's advice. I am not a CPA. There's one thing I've learned also in real estate: don't get advice or don't give advice on the I can't even say it. On the specific question asked, always defer to the professional in that environment. So if it's a tax thing, defer to the tax person. If it's a CPA type question, say, hey, do you have a CPA? That's a question for them. This is what I did, but I would always do what your CPA said, right?
I think that that's right though, Chris, because there was a big push.
There's a lot of agents in our market center who have their licenses in their LLC.
Right, but there was a big push probably 18 months ago in the market center to get, if you are incorporated, if your LLC, have it switched over to your LLC.
It was for DBA, but yeah.
Oh, well, DBA. So I think you're right.
All right, so we did the prepare for taxes.
Is that the most form or common entity that people sign up as, is the LLC? That's what I've done my other businesses, but I didn't know if.
That's the best one for real estate.
Okay.
This is one of the biggest ones that most people fail at. Who's holding the keys to accountability? It is the breakfast of champions. And one of those things that we do on our team, and one of the things that we do every morning with Mike and the leadership group here, is we have talks every morning. They're not long, they're 15 to 30 minutes at the most. And I would say the shorter, the better. But that accountability is, and one of the tools that I use in accountability, if you want to write this down now, it's called the 1-12-52. And I will show you what that is. So 1-12-52 is basically the whole year, the 12 months in it, and the 52 weeks that are in each of those months. Because every week should have a focus. So when I'm doing those accountability talks every morning, it's saying, hey, Nicole, we got this coming up. Did that thing go out? Yeah, it did. Okay, perfect. The next thing we got to do is this and this. Great, got it. Yep, we're on pace. All right, Rachel, we talked about this. Did we send that out? Good. Okay, boom. And we just go boom. Every week has a focus, because guess what? If you're planning an event, which we plan a lot of events, you need to go about 3 months backwards just to plan that appropriately and have the save the date go out in time and the reminder go out in time and the 7,000 emails reminding you that we've moved, and then people still don't know, right?
Not that that's happened.
No.
Yes, it has.
But
Not to me. Wasn't me.
not you. All right. But literally, we to this, was it last week? I think last week was the last one I've seen thus far. Oh, we moved? It's on the bottom of every email signature on our team. It's in the bottom of everything that goes out. Yes.
Should we put the new address on our business cards then, you think?
Just teasing.
I'm too early to die young. I'm too early to die young. All right. Knowing the language of the MREA. Now, this one is specific to real estate. So these are,
Can I back up?
Yeah.
And what does CASH stand for?
oh, CASH is an acronym, and it stands for, shoot, I forget exactly what it is.
Oh, okay.
But I can pull it up. I have it on my computer screen. I could tell you. But yeah, you can look it up. It's easy to see. In fact, if somebody's got a computer, they can.
I'm working on it.
Cash Talk. There's actually a book. That's where I got it from.
Okay.
Yep. And it just stands for like what's working, what's not working, what could we do better, things like that. It's just quick, simple questions.
Okay.
Yep. All right, knowing the language of the MREA, P&L, do you see that? 7th level. Do you see this? Not everybody wants to go to 7th level, and that's okay. But what I will say is that that was one of my goals, and what my plan looked like differently from somebody who wasn't going to go that route is extremely different. You ever heard the quote says, begin with the end in mind? You want to write that down. That's why I put that there. Knowing the language of the models, the economic model, the leverage model, the lead generation model. These are all models that we must live by because they're proven. It's the science of freaking real estate, to use freaking as a hard word. Okay? If you don't do them, you are choosing failure.
I got 2 definitions of it. Stands for knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits, or the Calcadoon Aboriginal Sobriety House.
There it is. The first one. The first one. So yeah, knowledge. How are things going? And there's questions surrounding these things.
Uh-huh.
That's what the book talks about.
Okay,
Decide, okay, here we go. Can we continue?
yes,
Okay. Decide your role models to follow. Stand on their shoulders and learn from their mistakes. That's one of the reasons I became a team leader, is because I wanted to just help dang more people get where they wanted to go, because I've learned a lot of hard lessons that you don't have to learn. And I've also, you can stand on my shoulders and see farther, right? If you want to go bigger, that's the way to do it. All right. So when you decide your role models, I want you to think about this. If it's personal role models, you go, who would I follow into battle? Who is so awesome? Their ethics, their accountability, their work ethic, that what they look at their life. I want their life. If that's a role model for you, that's something that you want to pay attention to. But for business, you go, who would I follow into battle? It's like, dang, who has achieved where I want to go? Right? If you want to have a business where you're just having coaches calls once a week, or not once a week, but every other day, pretty much. On my way home, we talk on our team back home, right? Hey, what's going on? How's it going? What's happening? Were you able to figure that out? Okay, cool. What ended up happening with that blah, blah, blah deal? Okay, cool. All right, make sure. Do I need to call them? Okay, good. We're good. It's just a 15-minute phone call on my way home. That's what you want. Or maybe you want to be like Gary Keller, where you completely step out and just go live your life and do whatever the heck you want and hire somebody else to run everything for you. That's a little bit more scary, because then people can actually do bad things and rip the business out from underneath you. But you have to be in the right business with the right people, right? Okay, creating your value proposition. Now this is where it starts to get pretty crazy. You ever heard of a wall of value? Who's heard of a wall of value? People that have been with Keller Williams a little bit longer, right? How long have you been with Cato?
5 years.
2007,
Long time. 10,
13.
13 years. Okay, perfect. So the wall of value. Can you give us a little definition? What's a wall of value?
Well, we had one at the old office.
Ah.
And it was just things that where people would write, like, come from contribution or think good things about our business.
Good.
As the market holds the market.
But what's your wall of value?
Well, it's what gets me from appointments to closings.
Ooh, okay. You deliver your wall of value, like in the there's that, appointments, then it's listings taken, then there's the wall of value, and then there's closings and profit. You heard those? So that's the 4 conversations they call it. I call it 5 conversations, because the middle one is the wall of value. And the wall of value, wherever I am, is why people work with you. Why is someone going to use your services? You should be very specific and have written down what it is why are they going to choose me over you? Why would they work with me over you? That's because my wall of value is rock solid. Why? What is on my wall of value? The fact that we call people back in less than an hour. No way. How is that even possible? It's like, because I'm not doing all the calls, right? Or, we are working with our strengths. That's one of the things on my team, is that I stay in my lane, she stays in her lane because she's better at that than me. So we've accumulated people that are better than us at those things, and that's part of our wall of value, right? So your wall of value, and we're not going to, create yours right now, but it's kind of like if the seller comes to you and says, like, well, they said they do it for 5%. Guess what? If you know your wall of value really, really well, you can go, yeah, I'm so sorry. A lot of agents don't know what their worth is. And you know what? We really take pride in that. That's why we've created packages where if you want us to do the bare minimum like a 5% would, we have that option. But if you'd like us to do what we do best, then there's the 6%, there's the 7%, and there's the 8%. And these are different packages. So you get to choose as a seller.
8%.
Yeah. But remember, they kind of go, oh my God. And then when you show them what those entail, they're like, no way. And you go, yeah. And you know what? If you sign with us today, I'll be willing to give you the 7% package for 6%. How's that?
Well, that's a wall of value.
Boom. How about that? Then I'm negotiating with them on my own terms, am I not? I've chosen what those packages are, did I? Yeah. Pretty cool. So wall of value. What, how, and why. I want you to, in the margin, I left a little space here. You see this space? See that space? I want you to draw a big circle in that space. Try to fill that whole space.
I already wrote that.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. You can just go somewhere else. All right. Imagine that thing is an egg. All right. If you're looking at it, what do you see? If you looked at that, what do you see? You see an egg.
Pumpkin.
No. No pumpkin.
No pumpkin.
It's written right here, right? You see an egg. It's what's on the outside. You're looking at an egg, but that is what it is. Okay, now I want you to draw a circle on the inside. Not tiny, but just inside that circle. All right.
Ruslan. Ruslan.
And I want you to write how. So the outside was what it is, the inside is how, and that's how you're different. That's how you do your business. Like Chris said, it's how you're delivering your wall of value, is it not?
Mhm.
So that's the how. Just like an egg, if you chop that sucker in half, what do you get? You get the outside, which is the shell, you get the inside, which is the white part, which is the how we're different. And those can vary greatly. That's why the white's so big. But guess what the core is? That yolk is why. And I have gone on listing appointments where we haven't even talked about the listing. We haven't even talked about my business. We haven't even talked about anything. It was all about why I do what I do and why they're moving. If you can buy into the why someone's moving, guess what? You have a leverage tool. If they know why you do what you do, they're far more likely to choose you in a competitive situation. Right? Super powerful. So that's that part. And I'm going to move, see if I can. Boom. All right. So describe the metrics you will brag about. These are talk tracks or PowerPoints or different things like that. They should be memorized, kind of like the Y4C2Ts. Win-win or no deal. Integrity to do the right thing. Customers always come first. If I went out them all, they're memorized. Why? Because they mean something to you. If something means something to you a lot, like your why or what you're so much better about, right? Because technically, remember, in a very competitive situation for, let's say, luxury, if I come in, can those other agents technically do some of the things I can do, or can I do all the things they can do to service that listing? Say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I could. But why? Their why can be not even talked about, right? But you want to have those things memorized, right? Really, you could choose them or you could choose us. But really, it comes down to why you're moving and why you would choose us is because of blah, right? Maybe it's your perspective of your company, right? If I'm talking with a, rock solid Christian person that's been in my church forever, and I go, you know what? The reason why you should choose us is because we're just a ministry operating as a real estate team that's dedicated to financial and spiritual wealth to all involved in the transaction.
Wow.
Bang. It's called memorization, right? I can rattle that off again if you want. That is one of our perspectives of our real estate team. Truly. Or it's your mission statement. We're going to get into that. All right, let's continue. So, describe the metrics you brag about. So, we're going back into that a little bit. If they want to know numbers, we can talk numbers, can't we? Yeah. And can you use the company of Keller Williams metrics like what we did this morning on the team meeting? Yeah. So, it doesn't have to be yours because you're brand dang new. That's okay. You've also got a track record history of your job history. It's like, hey, when I was in this industry, I was recognized for this, this, and this. When I was in this industry, I was recognized for this, this, and this. And I bring all of that to the real estate space. I go, wow, cool. Just because you haven't been in real estate forever doesn't mean you're not a professional who's all in to help their seller, right? Or the buyer. Truly. All right. Telling your story. How did you get here? And why did you do what you do? I honestly, you've got to have this written, but I wouldn't go through it in a listing presentation. I have something that's it's called listing binders. Beautiful. It's leather. It's got everything that they want to know about us. If they're a high SC, they love that. And I go, hey, you know what? I could tell you all day about why we're the freaking best and why you want to use us, but I've had that all here so that when you can't sleep, you can read this. right?
Right.
Sometimes I go like that. But again, I'm always gauging whether or not the seller is gonna be seeing that as funny or not. If there's just some really serious high D 90-year-old person, I might bust that open and actually go through with some of those things, right? Just go like, by the way, this is this, this is this, this is this. But if they're a friend and I'm just going in there, I'm just gonna go, by the way, you can read everything about why we're the best. That's fine, here you go, right? Cool? You cater, but you gotta tell your story some way or another. Say, hey, we are number one for these reasons. I could go into depth with that. Would you like that? Would you like to know why we are the best? Asking a question like that gives them the control over hearing if it's true or valuable, right? Becoming the leader that leaders will follow. That is a big one. As an agent, we must be the leaders that the client will follow and trust and listen to. Is that true? Heck yeah. If our seller thinks they know more than us about real estate, how much more are they trying to tell us how to do our job? A lot. They do. And that's one thing, one of the reasons I like to tell the story is bringing the market reports. So bringing the trends, I print those out on 11 by 17 pieces of paper so that I can show them the trends that they haven't seen because all they've done is look at Zillow and Redfin, right? So if I'm showing the real trends from the real MLS, I'm building my validity to my client because I can tell the story more accurately than they can. Because guess what? You're no longer the provider of the information unless you go outside of what they've already seen. And then if you go outside of what they've already seen, then you can bring more information. And then you are what? The professional again in their eyes. There's a reason why they're using you. You're bringing value, right? Delivering the wall of value. Become leader. So there you go. Become the tracks that the train can run on. This is a huge part that most people fail at, is that I treat the industry like a train. The train is just running, with or without you. The train is just going. Is it not? Heck yeah. And guess what? In your first year, you're gonna have to run to catch that train. You're running to catch the train. You're doing everything you got to do. You're coming to classes. You're going on prospecting like a madman. You're working with your database. You're learning new technologies, all this stuff. You're running. And then your second year in the business, you're actually on the back of the train. You're not in the train. You're still cold when it's cold. And you're still hot when it's hot. But you're on the dang train and not having to run. Okay? Becoming the train the tracks can run on is actually the next level. In your third year, usually, you're sitting comfortably in the train. You're being served on the train. You can, order whatever you want on the train. But guess what? You're not outside. You're not cold anymore. And you're not hot anymore. Your fourth year in the business, I'd say you can actually be the one driving the train if you want, right? The fifth year in the business, you can be the one directing trains where to go. So, but if you become the tracks that the trains can run on, that's kind of the eventual. If you're the network for everything real estate, that is when everything changes. And that's what I sought for. So that was one of my little adds to that, is to say that if you become the network that everyone thinks about when they think real estate, you win every time. Every time. Trains are great, but if you're the tracks, you go everywhere. Cool? All right. Study negotiations. This is a big one. Go for more than you think you can get. I teach a class called the Negotiation Hurricane. The hurricane is actually an acronym and it's totally misspelled, so that's okay. But it's fun because a hurricane, how stoppable is a hurricane? Nope, we don't have that technology to stop a hurricane, do we? Lots can get wrecked by a hurricane too. So if you don't do appropriate preparation before a really heavy duty negotiation, who gets wrecked? We do. So that class is going to be one you're going to want to make. All right, so let's continue. Defining your MVVBP. This is super big, all right? I don't want you to get off track because this is one of the most powerful things. When you think about Keller Williams' mission statement, how many of you guys know it? Yep, guess what? I've won some of the biggest mega agents when I attracted them to Keller Williams, and I've won some of the biggest listings because I knew our mission statement like that. I had one of my high-end net worth, high net worth clients who literally was the vice president of BP Oil for like 30 years. This guy has more money than I can even, I actually don't know how much he has. It's unreal. And he was selling his $4.5 million property in Sonoma County. And it was really competitive. And I won that because I knew our mission statement for the company. Because guess what? As a vice president, he wrote the mission statement for BP Oil. So that was really important to him. So you kind of have to be all things to all people. Say that. Be all things to all people. When you can become all things to all people, you will win more business. If I'm talking to a trucker, I'm a trucker. It's like, oh, what kind of rig is that? Right? If I'm talking with a very sweet old couple, I'm very calm. I'm very quiet. I'm talking much calmer. I'm going, oh, that's so sweet. Like, I can't wait for you to go be with your grandkids. How fun. Oh my gosh. When do you guys want to get there? You change who you are in the moments that you need to in order to, but that is a big one. Your mission, your vision, your values, beliefs, and perspective. They call that an MVVBP. And all great businesses have them. One of my friends, instead of saying a mission, he has what you call a mantra. And a mantra is kind of like a 3 or 4 word statement that says like, just do it. That's Nike's mantra, right? A lot of great companies do that. They have these really sweet little slogans that they're called mantras. Can you think of any other ones?
McDonald's is, I'm loving it.
Apple think different.
Think different. Favorite brands, mantras?
Chick-fil-A's like eat more chicken.
I like it. So all right, so
It's always
It's
our
always our
pleasure.
what's a vision? What's a vision?
Where you
Talking about
wanna
mission,
end up,
vision.
Where you want to end up.
Ooh, okay, I like that. What else?
Where you're going.
What's a vision statement? I like where you're going. Oh, it can be a goal.
It can be kind of like what you said earlier about you wanted to go to like the 7th level when you first started.
Well, I get great idea. Yep, perfect. You ever heard the quote? Leaders can see down the road and around the corner. Right? Great cultures in the world saw way far in advance. And that's why they planned the way they planned, was because they could see down the road. They had a vision for what was happening far in advance, right? You want to be at a company that looks down the road and around the corner. Well, values. What are values? I already said some. The Y4C2Ts, right? The beliefs and values can go back and forth. So beliefs is actually the Y4C2Ts with Keller Williams, but the values is God, family, and then business. That's the values for KW, but you having yours, right? Perspective. I said mine already because I memorized it, but do you have a perspective of how you view yourself in real estate? And is it written? Do you see how all these things could technically be check marks? You could sit right now for the next hour and you could write your mission, your vision, your values, beliefs, and perspective down. It's on paper. You could print it out. You could have it part of your listening presentation tonight. And then if somebody asks you, you start to memorize everything and you start changing over time. You start building something that really matters because this is part of you and where you're going. So know all that, know that the purpose of your business is to fund your life's mission. So there's actually a worksheet and we haven't done this yet, but if I just put you on the spot, if I just were to sit with you and go, in fact, Mo Anderson did this to me. She said, hey, sweetheart, I love having that you're here today. Could you please stand up and tell everybody your life's mission? She did that in front of 500 people. If I came over to you and I said, hey, sweetheart, would you please stand up and tell everybody your life's purpose? What is it? Isn't it funny you don't know? So that is a whole class that I teach that we're going to get really specific on what we feel like our life's purpose is. Not that it has to stay that way forever. Tomorrow, it could change, right? It could be, I don't know. Has anybody ever asked you that?
Not recently.
Okay. If you were going to take a stab at it, anybody willing to take a stab at what they feel like their life's purpose is? Cool.
I've kind of made mine to be somebody that I'm proud of and to continually grow and learn.
Love it. I love that. That's fantastic. When someone says their life's purpose, sometimes you get choked up because it actually meant something to you. Truly. When I stood up and told everybody my life's purpose, I was like holding back tears, and I don't cry almost ever. Oh, but your why is part of that, right? So you ever heard that your why should make you cry? You want to write that down, it's pretty good. All right. Have you done the worksheet? So you probably haven't. If you haven't, come to the dang next class, or otherwise I'll look down on you. All right, habits that you choose to get there. So habit tracker tool, there's part of the One Thing book. How many of you read the One Thing book? Boom, Chris, boom, 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 boom.
I started.
I'm gonna give you a hard time.
We're working on it
All right.
together. Yes. Stacy and I are good. We started a book club.
Awesome. Today, right now.
Yes.
Okay. That's fantastic.
We're
But
trying to.
the one thing has what's called a habit tracker in it. And it kind of helps you do a 66-day challenge. Because in the book, it says that for the general population, 66 days is how long it takes to start a habit. But guess what? Your habits, whether you choose them consciously or unconsciously, end up choosing your life for you. So like right now, I lost my 6-pack. I had my 6-pack this morning on team meeting, but I lost my 6-pack after our 3rd child. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the way I hold children. I don't know. But we just got more purposeful about it as a leadership team. I want to get more in shape. I'm as skinny and weak as I've ever been in my life, and I don't like it. And normally I'm like rock solid. I can run a freaking mile.
On that note,
Just
tell
one.
them to put a gym in that building.
I like it. So there can be faith habits, couldn't there? Maybe the way you pray or meditate or whatever. Family habits. Are you putting your family on the appropriate path? Wait, remember God, family, then business? Oh wait, there's a reason I put it in this order. Faith or your God family, all right, and then your family, and then financial, then friends, future, and fun, etc. You get to choose what those habits are, don't you? So be more purposeful about the way you look at your life. That is part of the way you run your business. I had a friend of mine who was the personal chef of the guys who created, what's the Disney that are all digital Disney?
Pixar.
So she was in our life group through church, and she was the personal chef to those guys. And the some of the habits they have are amazing. When you get up to the people at the highest levels that have financial wealth to that level, and what they choose to do with their time is amazing. And I've learned a lot from watching high net worth individuals like Gary. People say that working with Gary can be really intimidating because of how structured to his time he is. There's a fun little story. I'll say it in a second. Somebody walked into Gary's office and they go, "Hey, Gary, you got a second?" He turns around and goes, "No, why do you?" Because he's so purposeful about being focused on the task during that time, right? Don't interrupt Gary during his time block. It's time block for a reason, right? Okay, so we'll continue.
Health should be up there.
What was it?
You should add health.
Oh, I like it.
She said that.
I like it. That would be a good one.
Get the 6-pack. You gotta focus on it.
Oh, you know why I did this one? I did it all because of the ones that start with F. I just put ones down.
Fitness.
Fitness, there you go.
There you go.
Hey, look, I made an etc. You can put it. Look. ETC.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Put it down,
Yeah,
girl.
that.
Put it down.
Shouldn't that be Fed Cetera?
Wow. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Who has a vision map? Nope. Guess what we could build? A vision map. As a company, all great companies have them. Did you know that? And guess what? The more you do this stuff, the more powerful your business becomes. Those foundation pieces of building that, remember the build your island? When you do this early on in your business, guess what? All your decisions start becoming easier because it's in accordance or in opposition to your vision. If I'm going to hire you, let's say, imagine we got together and we started interviewing for the McCall team, right? And you were like, okay, I've heard great things about you. I know. But then you'd be like, okay, wait. Will you be in accordance with where we're headed? Because all of a sudden, making decisions, hard decisions, big decisions becomes a lot easier and more clear. Because clarity is what?
Power.
Clarity is power. So it becomes really clear when we've got a vision map for where we're headed, if you're going to fit in or if you're going to be in opposition to it. And let's say I thought he was a part of it, and that's where we wanted to go with him. And then it turns out he was a total liar and didn't do any of the stuff that he said he was good at. And then it becomes also very clear that it's not a fit with the vision. So with the vision map, build your Disneyland map. I love Disney. Mike loves Disney. Anybody else love Disney?
I do too.
Oh, I love Disneyland. I love Disney stuff. In fact, we were watching Ichabod Crane last night. It was hysterical. When was the last time you watched Ichabod Crane?
I don't know if I ever.
Oh my gosh.
I have it
He's
on
like,
VHS.
Ichabod Crane, right? It's hysterical. Okay. How does it fit together? What are the stages? The 7th level kind of lays out what it looks like for real estate if you follow the examples that Gary Keller wrote down. But do all of your stages have to look like that? Say no.
No.
My stages didn't look like that. In fact, I'm a 7th level, but guess what? I'm not there. And is my team all the structures of what the MREA says the 7th level needs to be? Say no.
No.
No, I don't have half of those roles. We're lean and mean, baby. Lean and mean. Right? And technically, are we lean in the leadership group right now?
Barely.
Very lean. There's other leadership teams that have our same level of agents or less. And they've got what, 10, 12, 15 people on their leadership team? So we are capable. We're running a million miles a minute, and I love it. It's really good. But we're going to look at adding people, are we not? Yeah. So, but you guys know what a Disneyland map is? Have you ever seen the Disneyland map? Most of us have seen it. So just to give you a quick overview, it's basically Walt Disney sat down at a big easel, if you will, and he like drew out his vision of what he wanted Disneyland to look like. It wasn't even there, but he saw it. It like was very close to what you see today based off what he drew before it existed. So he had a very clear vision for what it needed to be. And guess what? This is huge. You want to write this down. You ready? True talent wants to be associated with a clear vision. True talent can see themselves in a big vision. That is huge. Now, how do you get a clear vision? Or how do you build out your vision map? Now, I actually kind of answered that in section B here, which B says, build your Disneyland map, ask yourself powerful questions to get the powerful answers. Now, what's a powerful question and how are we doing on time?
How long is this class supposed to go?
Well, okay, perfect. We got 15 more minutes at least. And if we want to go longer, if anybody wants to stay, we can, because I am willing to let it go longer. But if you need to go at that time, that's fine. What's a powerful question you could ask yourself to give you more clarity?
That's the one that's gonna make you uncomfortable.
Oh, really good. Write that down.
What was
I'll
it?
make you uncomfortable. A powerful question typically makes you uncomfortable. But you had a very specific mindset around behind why you wrote that or why you said that. I'll say it. What is an example of a powerful question?
What am I truly capable of? Can I do this?
What am I truly capable of? Asking a what kind of a question is better than a if or a can I. Can I is a yes or no. But a what is good. Here's a what question that's powerful. What can I do? What can I do today that would help me be even more productive from now forward? What can I do to increase my abilities forever going forward? What's the one thing that if I did it would make everything else easier or unnecessary? Whoa, that's the qualifying question. That's the $1 million question. That's the Gary question.
Should write a book on that one.
Done.
Okay.
Yep. What's the one thing that if I did it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? Such that, thank you.
What would they call it?
I paraphrased.
What would they call the sequel to the one thing
The next one.
or the second thing?
Or, sorry.
No, because I technically, once you're done with your one thing, the next thing becomes your one thing. Okay. Do you hear that? If I asked you that question, what's the one thing that if you did it right now would make everything else easier or unnecessary? What would it be? How about getting your CE done? You've heard that on team meetings enough. You're done, right?
I'm done.
You're done, right?
And I'm paid.
Woo!
Yeah, me too.
Anybody here not done?
I paid them.
No. Everybody turn to her and say, for shame.
I've got it done. It's an address issue.
Okay.
I can't pay until the address.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give your name to Nicole, and then you're gonna lose a gold star from Nicole.
No, I'm gonna get one. I told her I wouldn't have it done till October 30th. I'm way in the.
You know how far behind you are? Today's like literally the last day.
It's October 20th.
Get over yourself. All right. There it is. How can I be even more productive than I am right now? Boom. That's a big question. Okay. How much time are you using to complete the things in your given week or month? When we start looking at, like, for Dan Trickel, who I love that guy. If I could duplicate him, I would do it over and over and over again because he is so needed in every Keller Williams office, not just ours, truly. Now, how much time are you using to complete? I asked him this question. I asked him that exact question. Dan, if you're watching, I did it, didn't I? And what did he do? He kept a log. He kept a log so that I could see how much time he's actually spending with our office and our agents so that I didn't know. And you can't change something you don't track. That's a good quote. Should write that down. Okay. What can be lost or leveraged? Big one. What's that?
Nothing.
Oh. All right, let's do that. Build your pro forma model, having what's called SMART goals. SMART meaning specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. There's lots of different acronyms for SMART goals, but I'll say those are my favorites. So you're welcome to use them if you're awesome. Okay. So what's a pro forma model? Somebody tell me. What's a pro forma model?
Projection of how you're gonna perform.
Projection of how you're going to perform? You talk really quietly. I could barely hear that. A projection of how you're going to perform?
Yeah.
I like that. I kind of answer it below it. I say the dollars that you need, right? Does it make sense to do this? Like Mike and I just looked at a new opportunity, did we not? And we need to do a pro forma on it to see if it's a good, sound financial investment. All financial investments should have a pro forma. It's basically, can I be profitable if I do this? Or is it going to get me the rate of return if I do this? If I invest in the newspaper, how valuable would that be? Okay, but if I invest in a person, if I brought somebody into my world and I paid them X amount of money, what would I expect out of it?
Higher return.
A high rate of return. What's a high rate of return? What times rate of return is a good one, Kim?
Okay, 3 times?
Yeah.
3 times? That's kind of the standard I hear a lot when I teach. 3 times rate of return. Yeah, good job. Gary doesn't invest in anything unless it's a 10 times rate of return minimum.
Wow.
Thanks, Cole.
Thank you.
Does the dollars make sense? If you look at the time and energy and effort and angst and frustration and pain and all the things that go into doing this business, does it make sense? Maybe yes, maybe no. But a lot of it depends on how you view things. A lot of it depends on your attitude. A lot of it depends on your ability to weather the storm and not let it affect you in your personal life. Truly, how long have you been in the business?
Here since 2016.
Okay. There's a lot of crap that happens. And how we weather the storm and how well it weathers us, does it make sense? Not always do we put all of it into financial. Sometimes we need to look at it in a way where we can look at ourselves in the midst of it. For me, I was making a lot of money, but my personal life was going down the tubes. Some of you have heard my story a little bit, right? Almost got a divorce. And I love her. She's like the best thing ever that's ever happened to me. But we almost got a divorce. Both of us working too much, sacrificing our personal time, our relationship, our ability to be together, right? Does it make sense? Having a pro forma is incredibly important. Making it a yes or a no. Oh, I did scroll down. Hello in TV land. Hopefully you guys are getting some of this without being in the class. All right, so yes or no. Plan for the time off to know what you will make hourly for the year. Interesting. Isn't that fascinating? Sometimes, I've done this with agents, I was working with them on their business, and when we finally did their pro forma, they realized they were only making like $15 an hour because of how much time and effort they were putting in and what they got in an actual net they'd never seen. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm only making $15 an hour. I go, well, you can change that. Luckily, you're in a business where you get to make a decision about what you want to make, right? So have you ever done that? Have you ever done that? What did you learn from it? Not that you need to give us a number, but what did you learn from doing that?
Well, when I ran my own numbers, I was surprised at how much I do actually make.
Truly.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a very good way.
Yes.
And it made me realize my 80% I can hand off to other people because I can afford to.
Awesome. Yes.
It's funny, I coached for a few years and it was like 25 cents an hour. You know, by the time you traveled, you had practices, you broke that down and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, coaching is like the most.
Oh, I coached my daughter's soccer teams for several years. And you're right, that's a thankless job.
It is.
You got parents yelling and screaming and you're like, this isn't worth it. It is for the personal, right? So you can't quantify personal enjoyment either, or the effect you're having on these kids' lives because they're going to be forever more efficient and more competitive in their lives or whatever it is.
Yeah, you can't look at it by the hour.
Yes. No, don't look at it by the hour. I'm surprised you did that for that.
Well, you know, when they're trying to talk to you and signing on for upcoming years, you're like,
Yeah. I commuted as a consultant for a company in San Francisco, and the drive was 2 hours there, 2 hours back in traffic. And I looked at my time and I go, this is not worth it. The dollars looked like it made sense, but if I actually looked at my life, I go, this doesn't make sense. Yeah, totally. So identifying the lifestyle that you are willing to accept to follow the plan on your mission. Gary Keller said he could have built Keller Williams much bigger, much faster if he hadn't been so devoted to making sure that he never missed a ball game, he never missed a birthday, he never missed family events, and he gave his wife his time. That was what he was willing to accept lower and slower growth in order to have the lifestyle. Be willing to fight for the lifestyle. You hear that? You might want to write that down. That's a good one. Okay, we're on to number 7. Dun, 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 dun. Building your business plan. No way, like a GPS. We talked about that in several team meetings. Building your business plan. Ideas are like mining for gold, diamonds, gems, oil. I want to give this analogy. Okay, check this out. Your database. Your database is like a diamond, a big diamond. Okay, so not everybody's diamonds are the same size because some people know more people and have more influence with those people than others. But if you don't have a rock solid database, it's like your database right now is on your phone. It maybe is in a couple of like cards, or it's in like a computer, like Google spreadsheet or something, but it's not like combined. It doesn't have first name, last name, first phone number, second phone number, addresses of all their owned properties. If you had a rock solid database, each time you get those database people and or their information in one sheet, it's like cutting that diamond, because the value of a diamond is in the cut. You have a big old rock, and yes, it might be worth something, but if you cut that thing beautifully, perfectly, That's where actually a lot of the value is in the diamond, right? So to make your business plan sparkle, having a GPS or a 135, they're synonymous. We've gotten away from actually using the 135 word. Instead, we use a 11252, in my opinion, because you make your GPS, which is your goals, your priorities, and your strategies, and then you put those things on your year calendar. And that's what a 11252 is. Have you been in my office before?
No.
You probably never heard that then, huh?
No, to me, that would be a 411.
Yes, it's a year's worth of 411. That's all it is. It's each month's 411 up on the wall.
It's
And it
actually
helps
pretty
me.
impressive.
Thank you. She's seen it. If you want to come up after this and look at it, I'll show you what it does. But it's your 1 year calendar, and you can always look 1 year into the future, and you can always look 1 year back on it. It changed my whole life. Everything I've done is because of the 11252, because I'm dyslexic and I'm ADD. Doesn't help. So the value is in the cut of the diamond. And so your database is one of those things that you need to get specific about in your business plan. If it's not, I'm sure Chris, yours is fine.
My what?
Your database.
Mine? Yeah.
You kill it with your database?
Yeah, mine's 100%.
Love it. Follow your set schedule. Protect your time blocks, which are your big rocks. Who knows what a big rock is? Yes. What's a big rock?
Those are your absolute big priorities, the things that are the most important to you, and you gotta put them in first.
Perfect. What's a big rock for you?
For me, my kids.
Kids. Does your calendar match your priorities? Huh, no way. Actually blocking in time for the things that are most important, right? Everybody's seen that analogy with the big bucket, and then you try to fit all of the things, like you got sand and gravel and rocks and water and all kinds of stuff over here that you've got to fit in the bucket. And if it's done right, everything will fit in the bucket. But if you do it in the wrong order, nothing fits in the bucket practically. Have you ever seen that? It's a really great analogy for your schedule and your big rocks. Put your big rocks in first. Put the gravel in next. Put the sand in next. And put the water in next, right? Water is fluid. It can move around. It can get in between the cracks. Building your org chart. Has anybody done an org chart before? Such a good tool. I can show you mine. In fact, I might. But your org chart is something that's so powerful because it helps you envision where and which job roles you need to get off of your plate, and or who's the right person for that job role, and or what kind of a person would be the right fit for those roles that need to get off your plate. Do you guys want to see that, or do you want me to keep going?
I want to see it.
Excuse me. I'm going to try to do this while on the fly. In fact, what do I do? Let's go here. Let's go here. And let's go org chart. And I've built several over the years, but this should be one that's good. Here's mine. So this one is an org chart. You've seen this one before, but here's mine. I'll zoom out.
Wow, our desk is just about the same.
Let's see if I can. We'll go 50%. There you go. So at one point, I was going to build my company on a much grander scale than it was. And then I stopped doing that because I was about to expand. And I took ESO 3 or 4 times from 3 or 4 different people. And so you've got CEO, my mom and I. Gary Keller's technically our coach. And then you've got your hub, which is the people that really do the business. You've got your director of agent sales, director of operations, director of lead gen, and the people below them, making sure that you've done all of these pieces. And then you had your local. So this is my director of sales, my lead buyer's agent, my lead listing agent, and then the people that were on the team like Jim and Katrina. And then my expansion partners was kind of a Ben Kinney model originally when I was about to expand. And so this was a vision for what my organization was going to look like. Because technically you only need 5 people that report to you. So if this is me, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people that report to me, and none of them have any more than 5 reports to them. And that's important. Do you see? Kind of cool. And if I scroll down, I actually created something called Fuel, which Fuel was actually a thing where I helped agents retire that wanted an exit strategy that didn't have one. That was extremely powerful. And I can't scroll on this, but boom. So you can see that I had internship, partnership, and cruise ship were the 3 different categories of the how they could retire. Where if they wanted to be completely out and just leverage my team to do all of their business for them, that was what we would do. And if they wanted to be a partnership where they're a agent that wants to be part of it, but doesn't really, want to have to do all of the stuff. They want to be a part of it, but they don't want to actually do the transactions. That was more of a partnership. And if they were internship, that was somebody who was newer, but there was a whole program around them. And then that internship program ended up being the bigger one that I did in the beginning. So I had like 10 to 15 people in my internship development program instead. And I had about 5 people in the cruise ship and only 2 people in the partnership. But cool, right? This is something you can build. This is something you could do. Not that it is going to be what you do, but it's there and it's an option. It's something that's on your business snapshot of something that if you did it, it would make you that much more purposeful about how you run your company. Because you're a company, believe it or not. Say, I'm a company.
I'm a company.
You are. You're a company, and you're standing on the foundations of Keller Williams. Keller Williams has created the training, the technology, the coaching, and the mentorship potentials for you to get where you're going. Do I work for you? Say yes.
Yes.
I work for you, and that's why I want to share with you what I've done so that you can get where you want to go. All right, so you still all got this in front of you. I can switch this back. Hold on. And I have my examples of every single one of the things that we've talked about today. Where did it go? Huh. This. Go down. What number are we on?
8.
Perfect. This is the shorter version that you're looking at on the screen, but you've got the longer one. So building your org chart, it's all about the who. Businesses are actually people, and who are the sum of the top 5? You are the sum of the top 5 people that you surround yourself with. So choose dang wisely. Key leaders in the right places over the right people. You have 5 cards to play. If you're playing poker, if you've got 2 2s and a 7 and a 5 and a 1, or an ace, how good of a hand do you got? Not very good. But if you have a jack, king, queen, ace, how are you looking? A lot dang better. So when you think about the people that you're bringing into your organization, choose the dang best. Gary says you want to know somebody will say, okay, I remember Gary asking a guy this, and he says, hey, how many people you want in an organization? He goes, I want 6. And he goes, okay, great. What kind of people do you want in there? He goes, I want a 1 in a million director of operations. He goes, okay, great. How many people would you have to interview to get a 1 in a million person?
1 million.
1 million. You have time to interview 1 million people? No. So guess what? You use your allied resources and you use other tools that you have available to you that I can help you with as well. But we want to bring the right people to you to help you achieve where you want to go much faster. Okay. Where are you now and where are you going? That's part of your vision. And who are you missing? That's a question most people don't ask themselves. Who am I missing? If you're having a really hard time breaking through a barrier in your business, like where you've just done 12 or 15 million consistently for a long time, and haven't had a breakthrough, odds are you're missing a who. And I'm hoping to be the who that a lot of our top agents needed, so I can give them the right boom. Hey, flick that one out, and now you got that rock out of your way, so you can actually go up this dang hill, right? That kind of stuff. Okay, so identify our 5 key empire builder positions, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but they're all there for you. You got role number 1, role number 2, role number 3. They go down. You do a missing persons report for each role, so you actually know what you need because of the skill set and the type of person you're looking for. If I need a director of operations, am I going to go hire a super bubbly fun agent?
No.
No. If I want a director of operations, am I going to go look at for bank leadership? Maybe. They know numbers. They dress nicely. They've got good, at least probably ethics, right? I'm going to go look for the best dang maitre d' at a high-end hotel. Because I know what those people are like already. The people that are succeeding in roles that I want, I'm going to go look for those. Totally off script. This is a funny statement. I was in this thing, it was like a seminar, and this is giving a good illustration of this. And you had this woman stand up and she goes, are you married? And she goes, no. And he goes, do you want to be? And she goes, yes. And he goes, how much time are you devoting to finding the person? And she goes, what are you talking about? She's like, you mean going to the bar? And he goes, I mean, that could be a way that you want to find a person to marry. He goes, tell me about who you want to marry. She goes, guy with money. And she goes, okay, who? He goes, who has money? She goes, doctors. I was like, okay, this is super funny, right? So everyone in the whole crowd was loving this. It was hysterical. And he goes, okay, why do doctors have money? And she goes, because they work a lot. And he goes, okay, how much time do doctors have to go out and find the right one? She goes, probably not a lot. He goes, do you think doctors are the one going out to the clubs every night? He goes, no. And I go, okay, where do doctors? And he goes, where do doctors go? She goes, to work. And I go, how often are you hanging out in hospitals? She goes, right? Do you see this? This is so simple. But people get lost in the fray of like trying to find the right one when they haven't even decided who they want. Right? And she goes, I'm going to start hanging out. She's like, does that mean like I go to the parking lot? He goes, I don't know. This is your thing. I was like, that is so great. So be purposeful about the type of people you would want to join with. Be purposeful about the type of client that you're going to be easily working with. And then go after those. If you're going to relate with horse farmers, probably should be going to hang out at horse farming type things a lot. Right? If you love horses, they love horses. Guess who horse people love? Other horse people. Right? Be purposeful about where you want your business to come from, because you get to choose where your business comes from. And in this category, identifying where your 5 key hires are going to come from. All right, so you're going to make the first hire. They have to be a rock star. And guess what I'm here to do? Help you vet talent if you want, because that's one of my biggest strengths, is to come alongside somebody and go, you're awesome. We're going to rock it. Boom. And we'll have a great meeting. We'll go through the KPA or the DISC or go through the actual career visioning process together. I can show you how that all works. I've done it 80 times or more. Right? Learned a lot of hard lessons through it. I've probably lost $600,000 just in bad hires. I'd love to offer you that $600,000 to not learn those hard lessons. Cool? All right. So making your key first hire. I said the Donna. Did you see that? The Donna. Do you guys know what I mean by the Donna?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Who is Donna? Have you guys ever seen the show Suits?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the Donna? Red hair, stunningly gorgeous, amazing at everything, incredibly good at professionalism. She has a good heart, but she also kind of goes, she's like, I got that, right? I want to find the Donnas, because the Donnas make all of our lives better and their lives better. Hear me now. You might probably want to write this down. There are epic level talented people in this community right now that hate their job. There are great spirited, wonderful people that would work really well with you that don't have a job right now. When I started seeing that I was a job maker, I was a job provider, I was a job builder. And guess what? Empire level building talent wants a person with big vision. And believe it or not, realtors typically do have big vision because they stepped out of the rat race and they're like, I'm going to go be my own boss. And so they're going to be entrepreneurial. Not all epic level building talent people are that entrepreneurial, believe it or not. But if they come behind you and they get alongside you in in a joint effort, they can be the best support role you can imagine. My director of operations, her name is Ilham, and she comes from another country, and her accent is adorable, and everyone loves it, and it's fantastic. And she is the perfect empire builder talent for my mom, who's our lead listing agent. And the two of them alone, if I just let them go off and do their own thing, that would be great. But the unification of the team is really important, because leaders help people that, what is that quote? Leaders help everyone feel a part of a team. Leaders help everyone feel a part of a team. So, how are we doing on time? We good?
Like, wonderful.
Oh, we went 13 over. Dang. Once I get on a roll, I lose track of time. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 real quick that I could do, and we'll finish. We good?
Yeah.
All right. So building the team is you're always creating and seeking to create the wow experience. What is a wow experience? When was the last time you went out to dinner, or you stayed at a place, or you went out to a fun vacation spot and you just had a wow experience? When was that? Can you guys give me an example? A wow experience where you're like, dang, that was great.
So I went to Dallas a couple weekends ago.
Dallas?
And just the energy,
Uh-huh.
and we went to brunch, and it was an outside seated area,
Venue.
and so many nice plants, and just the energy of everything was just perfect. I was like, okay, I need to do that more. Because you
Okay.
could have this on a Saturday morning instead
it.
of staying home.
I love
So just
That's
different.
fantastic. It's a wow experience.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love it if your clients came away from working with you and had a wow experience? And what does a wow experience mean to you that your clients would experience? There's a great book for that if you want to write this down, and it's called Raving Fans. Raving Fans, when I read that book, changed my viewpoint about what a wow experience feels like. What is a wow experience? Have you had a wow experience? Can you think of anything?
I'm not gonna put anything to life at this.
See how rare it is? It's super rare. Isn't that sad? Gary Keller, I remember he was up on stage and he said, he goes, I've been going in to the same coffee shop for the last 15 years. They don't know my name. They don't know my order. And they don't know my, they don't know my friends. They don't know anything about me. How sad is that? I sign up to win a car at a thing, and they then send me, thank you so much, and all this automated stuff that's actually more customer service than the actual person at my favorite coffee shop for the last 15 years. Yuck. It's our goal to create a wow experience again for our clients. Cool? Yeah, that's one thing that Chick-fil-A, I've heard, because actually we just got for the first time ever a Chick-fil-A in Northern California, in my hometown right before I left. So I don't even know how it's going, but I know the owner because he went to church with me. But Chick-fil-A, since I've been here, they'll come up, I'll pull into the thing, and they're like, how may I serve you today? And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, right? But it's definitely different than like pulling up to Taco Bell, and they're like, yeah, what do you want? Right, the class. Do you want class? You get to decide what your wow experience is. What does your onboarding structure look like? Is it a concierge experience? Maybe bringing somebody on. When I became a team leader in Northern California, it was awful. I was like excited. I'm like, yes, team leader, fantastic. I've always kind of dreamt of doing something like this and helping other people. When I got onboarded, it was like, yeah, this is the office. Good luck. It was kind of like that. There was no like, sit down. This is our mission statement. This is our vision statement. This is where we're at. This is how we're doing it. This is what I need from you. This is what we agreed upon. This is everything. That concierge onboarding experience. When you bring a talented person onto your organization, that is really powerful. When they feel the way that you want your clients to feel. Because if they can feel that, then they can duplicate that for others. Truly, you want to hear a powerful statement? I would say about half. This is crazy for me to say this. I would say almost half of every agent that I've helped come into real estate has gotten into real estate because of how much they hated the experience they got when they bought or sold. They were like, this was awful. I wanted to ensure no one else had an experience like that. Wow. But that can be a good driver. If they know how bad it was, they can envision a lot better. Or it's the opposite, and it's a much smaller number. They said, I had such a great experience buying my house. I was like, if I could do this for my job, I would love that. That was my mom. My mom had such a great experience buying her house for the first time in her 40s that she was like, I think I'm going to do that someday. Right? I would love to do that. You can even look at yourselves. Why did you get into it, baby? Right? Okay. Run a training and coaching business. Keller Williams, if you might not know this, actually its perspective of itself, remember when it said MDVBP? The perspective, the P of Keller Williams is actually that we were a training and coaching organization dedicated, right? All that stuff. Now, what is Keller Williams' perspective? Do you guys know? Yes. A technology company that's created the platform for the training and coaching and all of this stuff that we do to be powered through that, right? Super good. So recognizing the process and celebrating the achievements along the way. You guys might be a rock star team, but are you celebrating the wins along the way? I had to learn that a hard one. I added that right in there because it was a major thing that I didn't do very well. Because we'd be number one, we'd kill it, and I'd be like, okay, so what? Let's keep going. And they'd be like, hey, can we have a leadership summit or something? Like, oh yeah, right? Are we gonna do an awards thing for the team? I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I needed it, right? Okay, so it's really important. 13, run a research department. Ooh. Remember when I said you can't change what you don't track? If you're not tracking at this point, as you built your business, it's so important to kind of know your story and knowing where you've gone and where you've been. If you go to KWRI, the international office, all the way around the training room is this big red timeline. And it shows all these huge breakthroughs about where you've been and what happened along the way to today. Literally the other side is today. And they adjust it every quarter or something like that. So ROI, statistics, analytics, surveys. Gary Keller, 4 years after creating Keller Williams, was named #1 brokerage in Austin. They've never relinquished that ever. The #1 brokerage in Austin forever since 1985. Cool? That's impressive. I would tout that all day long. That becomes part of your value proposition again, or that wall of value, right? So analytics, surveys, asking people how they're doing. If you don't have a Yelp profile, you should. How long does it take to create a Yelp profile? 5 minutes. Guess what? If you're not providing a wow experience, it could not show up so great. But guess what it's helping you do? Be recognizable to your own stuff. Yes?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right, last couple. Building your company. Lead with revenue. Having an actual P&L. If you don't have a P&L as you grow, you will not know what your profitability is. You will not know actually, hey, just because you have money in the bank doesn't mean you're profitable. Believe it or not. Isn't that funny? Truly. Leading with revenue. What does leading with revenue mean? What does lead with revenue mean?
Red light, green light.
Red light, green light. Ooh, not everybody knows that, but just explain that briefly.
Red light, green light basically means that you don't invest your money into new technologies or leverage unless you're making enough money to cover that and it's giving you a good ROI.
Beautiful. I love that. Well said. Benchmarking and trending, seeing where things are and where they might go. That's where, again, being a leader, seeing down the street and around the corner, we do a lot of study of that as leadership for you and provide that in team meetings as much as we can so that you can stay on top of the knowledge. Did they do that at Mega Camp? Say big yeah. They did. They did a ton of projection of analytics from what we've got. And this is where very likely we could be going to give you insight so that you can go back to your clients and be what? knowledgeable, the professional, the provider of the information that they don't have. So consistently be interviewing for true talent. So that is one of the things that I became, is I stopped doing buyer consultations, leveraged it out. I didn't stop, but I am now not doing listing presentations. But what do? I interview talent a lot. I interview talent probably twice a week, even now as the team leader, right? And I'm going to be starting to interview talent because we got to grow our leadership group to be able to handle going to 500 agents and beyond, right? How neat. Say neat. All right. So work like everything depends on you and pray like everything depends on God. That's kind of another quote there at the end. Hey, that was finalized. That was hysterical. So there it is.
Leave the building.
Thank you for being here. That's about as fast as I've ever done this class. You all right? You made it through?
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you guys.